What's up, y'all? It's Allison representing Exodus United, and I'm here with fellow poet in the Orlando community, Delaney, and we're partnering with One Pulse today, and we're gonna be showing you step by step how to write a spoken word poem, how to perform a spoken word poem, just teaching you step by step basically. So first, before we even get into writing spoken word poetry, we have to know what spoken word poetry is. So spoken word is essentially speaking a poem out loud. It's basically it. It's not anything complicated. It's taking a poem that you wrote on paper and speaking out loud, adding movement, adding emphasis with your voice, facial expressions, things like that. A little backstory about spoken word: it originated in the 1950s, and around that time people would incorporate music instrumental backgrounds such as like hip-hop and jazz into their spoken word. And around that time there was a lot of political things going on, so people would use spoken word to empower them, empower their community, empower a certain group of people, or bring awareness to a certain subject or something that was going on at the time. And if you think about it, there's still a lot of things that are going on like that right now. I mean, the world has only changed so much since the 1950s, and there's still a lot of things that are going on in our day to day. But at the same time, spoken word does not only have to be about serious political issues. It can be about simple things. It can be about what's going on in your day. It can be about how you're feeling. It can be about your relationships. It can be about the way that you express love to one another. It can be about simple, beautiful things. It doesn't have to be about catastrophic events. It doesn't have to be about detrimental things. So I want you guys to take that into consideration as we proceed on with this workshop today. So before you even begin writing a poem, you have to have ideas. You have to begin brainstorming. What are we going to write about? So I want you to begin asking yourself what's been on your mind. Start questioning, start asking questions, start analyzing. And in this beginning portion, we're just going to do a free write. So a free write is where you're allowing yourself to write without any conditions, except for the time, because we are going to have a time. It's going to be very short, 5 minutes. And during this free write, I want you to focus on everything that your mind has been thinking about recently. Not necessarily going into detail, but just jotting it down on a list. So for these 5 minutes, I want you to jot down everything that you've been thinking about. It could be something as simple as the water, the dew on the morning grass, or something as deep and serious as the United States government, or somebody that you've been thinking about recently. Just simple things. Literally, like, just put it all down on paper. So that's what we're gonna do for this next 5 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a timer on. And also, if there's nothing that you can think about, I have some ideas for you, because sometimes we don't know what to think about. So don't worry, I have some idea starters for you guys. Just give me a second. Okay, so at this point, you guys should have some sort of journal, some sort of writing utensil, some sort of paper, or a phone to use to write on, something, anything, because you can't just put it all here. You need something to put it on. So have that out. Give you a little time to get that on and whatnot. And I'm gonna tell you the topics that you guys can write about if you haven't started thinking about some right now. So political disputes in your country or other countries, issues in your family, or like family vacations, or something that you hold near and dear about your family, anything related to family. You can also journal about self-discovery or self-love. You can journal about yourself, how you've come to know yourself, or the relationship that you have with yourself. Some things or anything that makes you really happy or sad. To keep it simple. someone you miss or appreciate currently, a time, and also a time where someone stood up for you and what that meant to you. So these are all prompts that you guys can use, and if you need to go back to hear anything that I said, then you can go ahead and do that right now. So at this time, we're gonna take 5 minutes to just make that list, and for this entire 5 minutes, only write down the list. So let's go. Alright, so the 5 minutes is finally done. That felt like a very long 5 minutes. But anyways, so I'm pretty sure you guys should have a very, 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 very long list of ideas or things that you've been thinking about, some things that have been impacting you or things that have been going on around you. Just a very long list. So looking at this list, you see there's a lot of things that you care about. You see there's a lot of things that you hold near and dear to your heart, or there's things that you don't really think about as much, but they've been on your mind as of recently. So I want us to consider our hearts for a moment. Consider how, once again, going back to the beginning, how poetry has always been a source of power to the people, to empower their community and to bring awareness. Looking at human beings, we are very emotional and we go through a lot of things. And poetry gives us that outlet to express ourselves and to be authentic and to be vulnerable. And it also gives us that time and that freedom to express ourselves in ways that we have never thought about before. So with this next portion of the exercise, I want you guys to dive deeper into your ideas. Out of all of the ideas that you have listed in that list, I want you to pick one. Now, I know that there's probably a lot, but I want you to just pick one of them and really hone in onto that. Start thinking about how this thing makes you feel. Start to envision it, start to picture it. Let's say that it's a person. Start to think about this person and feel how they make you feel when you think about them. When you envision them, think about their hair and the features, think about the colors, think about, if there's any music, if you have any smells coming to you, any sort of flowers, whatever the vision is, put all of that down on paper. Every single thing that you think of, even if it's like the most silliest thing, put it down on paper, because there is some correlation that your subconscious gets with that topic. So write it down, and there is purpose in it, which we'll find in later parts of this workshop. So after you guys hone in and you guys think about, whatever it is that you picked, and you start to really think about the details, I want you guys to consider these 4 powerful topics. I'm going to give you 4 powerful topics. And I want you to think about which of these topics resonates with you the most, and how can you apply this into your poem, or how can you apply this into the topic that you have chosen from the list. So here are the topics, the 4 powerful topics that I'm going to give to you. So the first one is empathy. And you can write this down in the margin of your notebook, or you can write this down on the notes app. Wherever you're writing down, I want you guys to write these 4 things down. So it's empathy, self-love, anti-bullying, and anti-hate. So in this free write, I want you to incorporate whichever one resonates with you the most in the topic that you previously wrote about and you chose from the list, okay? So if it's about this person, for example, you chose to write about a specific person, you can incorporate maybe self-love. Let's pick like something like, this person taught you how to love yourself. So every time you hear this person's name, you start to love yourself more. Something you wouldn't really think about on a regular, but when you dive deeper into this person, when you dive deeper into the topic, you start to reveal how there is other things that you have discovered, other things that you have learned. So I want you guys to incorporate whichever one resonates with you the most with the topic that you chose from the list that you wrote previously in the last free write. And we're going to take another 5 minutes to journal about that, write as much as we possibly can, and incorporate either empathy, self-love, anti-bullying, or anti-hate into this. So it's just going to be another free write, no conditions, no worrying. So 5 minutes starts now. so time is up. So we are now concluded with the first half of this, well, the first portion, not first half, excuse me, of this workshop. One thing that I wanted to say is that while you guys are writing, incorporate your five senses. So smell, touch, taste, sight, and hearing. Incorporate all of the five senses, because this is really how you're going to bring your poetry to life. So in the next step, in the next video, I want you guys to take that into consideration, and I'll see you then.